What's up, YouTube? It's the 10th of January. I have been sick since New Year's Eve, or like the day before New Year's Eve. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I had, but nonetheless, it was awful. It was evil, whatever it was. I don't wish it on anybody. As far as like the physical aspect, it was fine. Like I could get through that part, but something happened to me mentally. And I'm still really struggling with that. I did lose my taste and smell again. I lost my taste and smell back in 21. The first time I had COVID. And so I don't know if I had COVID this time or not, but every time I get sick, I lose my taste and smell. And that's just the way it is now. When that happens, something happens to you mentally, and I cannot explain it if you've not been through it. And some of you may have been through it and had different experiences, but from what I have been through, it is very difficult. And I think from the first time, it was really what ignited my postpartum depression after I had my son. But after this past week, I started struggling with that again and having some of those feelings coming back. So I decided today that I was just gonna get ready and try to fight this mentality that I'm going through right now. And I'm gonna get behind the camera. I don't think I've been behind the camera for like a couple weeks or so now, but I decided that I'm gonna do that and answer those questions that I told you guys to ask over on Instagram and here on YouTube. And while I'm answering those questions, I'm gonna fix supper for me and my family. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it. Answer some questions. All right, I gotta find my kitchen scissors. Wherever they are, I don't know. Hunter has been in this kitchen, and when that happens, things get moved around and I have no idea where they're at. I gotta wash these. So one of the first questions I got was, sorry, I'm reading these off of a book, just because I had to write them all down, because I actually asked you guys to ask these questions a couple weeks ago, so I had to write them down. Let's see. What are you doing now that you're not doing hair? So if you didn't know, I have been a hairstylist, cosmetologist, whatever, since 2016 is when I graduated and I became a licensed cosmetologist. So I'm certified to do hair. I'm certified to, not that you have to be certified to do makeup, but I'm certified to do makeup. And I'm also certified to do facials and nails, like acrylic nails, whatever. So I actually just did hair and makeup alone for about 8 years. And I finally decided last year, after having 2 children, it was time to quit my job. And so I thought, oh, okay, I'm not gonna have a business anymore. I'm not gonna, be working out of my home or in a salon setting anymore. So that's gonna leave like a huge window for me to be a mom and be a wife and do all of the things that I need to be doing. Because I have, from what I've learned in the past couple months, I have ADD really bad. And so just like now, I forgot what I was talking about. I quit my job and I thought, okay, I'll have more time to do so many things. This is gonna be great. Like, this is gonna be awesome. Now, it being what I think I quit in spring of last year, I quit. And so since then, I have really amped up my social media. I've been doing that for several years. I've just been, I want to say like content creator, which is what I am, I guess. I don't like the word influencer. I think that's cringy. We all have an influence on everybody, and whether it's one person or a million people, it does not matter. So I really don't like to use that word, but I like to content create. I like to do digital marketing. I like just, I don't know, putting my life out there and creating things. I like to design. I like to do art, all of those things. So on top of like social media, I've now designed my own t-shirts and I'm selling those. You guys will probably see some of that in future videos. I'm supposed to be prepping this food, but I'm just trying to like do that and talk at the same time. This is not good for me. Anyways, yeah, so I'm making those t-shirts and selling those. And then I also started to do some artwork as of 2023. I started doing some canvas paintings and I turned those into digital prints. So I'm selling those over on Etsy. So I'm also doing that. A lot of these things are not consistent work. They're not things that I'm consistently working on. Occasionally, if I have an idea for a t-shirt, I'm gonna put it out there. Occasionally, if I have an idea, something that I wanna paint, I'm gonna put it out there. That's just kinda how that goes. But I do that. And then of course, I'm a mom and I'm a wife 24/7. So I've got 2 small toddlers and I'm always, well, you know, they're a full-time job. Like, it's a full-time job. It does not get easier as they get older. It actually gets harder because they're mobile and they're becoming little actual people that you talk to and interact with. So there's a lot that goes into that, and their development has a lot to do with the way that I raise them. That was one reason that I wanted to take the time and get away from having a business and just focus on one thing, because I, as many things as I do, have a hard time focusing on all these things at one time. But other than that, that's what I've been into. Of course, I think the social media thing takes up probably 90% of my time, just because working with a lot of different people and brands and things like that, and content that I just want to put out there. So that involves a lot, and it has honestly become a full-time job that I don't really get paid for, you know what I mean? But that's okay, because I still enjoy it, and I've still been doing it for like 8+ years now. So I'll probably continue to do it. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing. I also haven't babysat in a while, just because they've been sick. We've been sick, but I do babysit a couple days a week for a friend. So that also takes a little bit up of my time, and just helps me a little bit financially so that I can afford some groceries, pretty much, because who affords anything else at this point? Next question is, when did you start hunting? So I started hunting when I was 17. I met my husband at 17 years old, and I would say give or take a few months, because we started dating in March. So I think I may have went hunting with him for the first time that deer season. So it was 2012 was when I started. So I was 17 years old, never been hunting before in my life, okay? And he was a pretty avid hunter. He was a pretty avid deer hunter. Never duck hunt, never anything other than that. Maybe coyote hunting, like things like that. But as far as hunting, he was pretty much a deer hunter. And so he kind of like got me going into it. I got into it, I guess, because of him. And I went out, sat for the first time, thought, oh man, this is kind of boring. Like, I'm not sure I'm gonna be into this. I'm not sure I'm gonna like this. But I went with him several times after that, and somehow it just like grabbed a hold of me. I don't know what it was. I think it was the first time that I was with him and he had shot and killed a buck. I think that was the first time that it was like, it ignited something. It comes that time of year, like that's all I think about. Like I dream about it, I think about it 24/7. So I guess, yeah, when I was 17, so That's been what, 12 years now that I've been hunting, and it's not consistent. It's not like, you know, crazy, but this year was the first year that I was very consistent about hunting. And I think the proof was in the pudding, because I actually got a shot at a decent buck. Although I missed, I still got that opportunity. And before that, I've never really had an opportunity like that. So I think by me really trying and putting my best foot forward this year, I got an opportunity. And so I'm very grateful for that. The next question is, if you could hunt anywhere in the world, where would it be? Honestly, I'm thinking of places that I would just want to go in general and not necessarily hunting. If I had to go hunting, I would definitely want to go somewhere out west, or I would want to go somewhere exotic like New Zealand or something like that. I've had a couple offers to like go out to Africa or places like that and do some like crazy exotic animal hunting, but I'm just not into that kind of thing. I think a lot of people do those things for recreation, not so much like, this is how I feed my family, or this is how I desire to feed my family. It's more of just like, hey, I want to kill an exotic animal. And I'm just not into that type of hunting. I know a lot of people are, and you know, I'm not seeing that perspective, so I can't say that it's right, that it's wrong. Like, I'm not in that right now. But my mindset, I'm just like, I love to whitetail hunt, because obviously we eat whitetail deer, and so that's kind of what I would do. But if I had to say somewhere, like, I would say somewhere out west, somewhere that I've never hunted before. I would be very grateful to be able to do that. I've just never done it because, well, financially it's very expensive, from the tags to the equipment to transferring the animal. A lot of those, there's a lot of factors that go into it that I've just never gotten into. So yeah, the furthest that I have went hunting was Minnesota, and I live in North Carolina, so that's not like a crazy stretch, but it was still very fun, and it was still very different. It felt like I was in a completely different world. Yeah. Next question. Have I ever hunted Michigan? So I just pretty much answered that with the fact that I've only hunted Minnesota. That's the only other state I've been in. And I went pheasant hunting, so that was pretty fun. Next question. How old were you when you first started hunting, and how do you balance time being a mama? Okay, so, wash my hands. So like I said, I was 17 when I started to hunt. 18, 19, which really I didn't even really do it then. Actually, yeah, I did. I think I did. Was in college. I got really heavily into hunting more. But what was the next question? I swear. This is my ADD. I'm like, oh, this was a bad idea, me trying to like answer questions while I cook. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? All right, but anyways, so brown sugar, pepper. Next I'm gonna add the steak blend from Kinder's, and then I'm gonna do some onion powder, garlic powder, and then I'll add my little sauces. Okay, but anyways, the way that I balanced, as far as deer season goes, the way I balanced it this year was I went hunting 1 time a week, and that allotted my in-laws and my parents to have a little bit of time with my kids on a weekly basis, which I strive to do that anyways, because I want other people in their lives, and I want them to have their grandparents, because grandparents are amazing. And I just remember being a kid, like those were some of the best memories that I had, was being at my grandparents' house and being at my grandparents' house with my cousins. Like, that was the best time ever. So I want that for my kids, and so I kind of use that as an excuse to get out and go hunting as well, and have a little time to myself. So I did that this past deer season. I went out, it was typically every like Monday or every Thursday. I kind of alternated going out and hunting for the afternoon, and then sometimes they would spend the night, and so I would go hunting that afternoon and then the next morning. So it kind of worked out for everybody, I think, and I really enjoyed the time to myself, and it was really fun, so I'm glad I got to do it. But other than that, like, when it comes to being an outdoorsman and being a mom, I think it is extremely difficult at times, but I think that the more you get your kids outdoors with you, the better off it can be. It can be challenging at times. I think this past year, just like filming a lot of outdoor videos alone here on YouTube with my kids was pretty difficult, because you want to make sure that you're watching them, that you've got an eye on them at all times. And so, you know, whatever you're doing, you want to kind of involve them. I think it was harder with River, obviously, because she is younger. But my son, he's gonna be 3 soon, so he's more interactive now. He will actually like listen to you, and he'll actually take in what you're telling him. So I really want to take him outdoors a lot this year and do a lot of fishing with him. And I don't know if I feel like he's equipped enough to do it by the end of the year, then I can take him deer hunting with me or something like that. I think that would be really cute to see. But yeah, it's very hard to balance, I have to say. But if you have a village, if you have people that are behind you and want to help you, you know, that's really great. And I have that. I have a great support system, and people that want me to get out and do what I love. So I have to say that's pretty much how I balanced it, was just having those other people in my life. And you know, like I said, it was a win-win, because I got to do what I wanted to do at least one day a week, and then they also got to keep the kids, so they really love that and enjoy that, and I'm happy for that. So this was a good one. So this will probably be the last question, honestly, and the question is, what is the Lord teaching you right now? I thought this was such a loaded question, especially, it didn't surprise me, the person that asked me this question, because we're both very in-depth people, and we're both very emotionally, like we're the type of people, if we're gonna hang out, it's gonna be like a 3 a.m. deep conversation type thing around, you know, like, it's just, we're just those people, like, we connect on a different level. So I knew this was gonna be a hard question, but at the same time, it's kind of easy. I don't really know if I'm gonna answer it like I should, but what is the Lord teaching you right now? I think that within this past year, with me quitting my job, with all the things happening in my life, God has definitely, I don't want to say broken me, but he's put me in a position to be broken down. And so I'm definitely, I would say more of a submissive wife, which if Hunter ever watches this, he'll probably laugh at me saying this, and I totally get it, like, because I've always struggled with this, but I've gotten down to the reason that I struggle with that. And I struggle with that because of, well, first of all, the feminist movement, of, girl, you don't need anybody, go get that bag, like, you don't need anybody in your life, blah, blah, blah. I think that was something turning in my mind, maybe in the back, but it was there. And then also just the fact that, oh, he's calling me. All right, sorry about that. But anyways, so I think that a lot of me wanting to like step over him or be the boss or something like that has come from being insecure and not wanting to get hurt. And I think, you know, I'm a realist, so I understand that no matter how long you've been with somebody, no matter what you've put into the relationship, something can always go wrong. Something can always go wrong. But that's not something that I want to dwell on. I want to dwell on the here and now and what's going and what's good, and really work for that. So I think that's been something that God has opened my eyes up to this year, is that I just need to be more submissive. I need to put myself aside, and I need to not be so afraid of the what ifs, and just understand that I am a helpmeet, okay? That's why I'm sitting here making these steaks right now while he's out working. I'm, you know, supposed to be the one that pushes him to do greater and be greater. And I think that over the years, I have been a very negative person. And like I said, that was coming from a place of being hurt, because my husband and I, we've been dating for, gosh, like, it's been 12 years. Like, it's been a long time. And so when we started dating, we were babies. Like, we were babies. And of course, we dated in high school. So in that time, in your mental state and the things that are going on in your life, like, it's totally different. It's totally, like, 18 is way off from 30. And so I think a lot of that past hurt and things like that just made me, even though I loved him, it gave me resentment towards him, and it made me, like, who wants to be vulnerable? You know what I mean? Like, who wants to be vulnerable in a situation? And when you're submissive, somehow that comes off to be like you're the vulnerable one. But at the same time, I think this past year, I've really understood and learned where a woman's place is in this world, and her purpose, and my purpose as a wife, my purpose as a mother, is just to submit. And I think, as hard as it is, and I still have days where I fail at this tremendously, like, I'm still working on my mindset, and I'm still getting a lot better with that whole thing. So I'm very grateful for the position that I'm in, and I think that that's obviously one thing, like I said, that God has taught me. And I don't know, I think there's a lot more that he's teaching me at this point, but you're not going to learn while you're going through it. You know, you're going to learn after you've been through it, which, I mean, that's just my experience. I look back at things and I'm like, wow, God was teaching me this about this certain situation. Like, it wasn't me learning in the middle of all of it and being like, like light bulb, you know. It was like, I had to go through it. I had to heal from it. And that's when God put in perspective for me, like, this is why this happened. This is what the outcome was, and this is why. And that's when you really learn, like, that's when you learn what God did for you. It's not like in the middle of something, you know? So that's just been my personal experience, okay? All right, so the next thing I did was I put some Worcestershire sauce. Oh my gosh, that word. And then I did some Allegro original marinade. I put this in there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna use some more of this Kinder's steak blend seasoning. Here we go. Ready to go in the fridge. So Hunter and I have been doing Hunter has, I've just started to do it. He's been doing the viral lemon juice and cayenne pepper in some water every single day. And although I have not done the cayenne pepper, I started doing the lemon yesterday. And so I'm actually taking like a legit Actually, I think my son ran away with my lemon. Hold on. While I'm doing my lemon water, I just checked my Instagram and I had one person ask about depression. I don't really know the context around this, but I did mention on there that I was sick as of the past couple weeks really, and I've been struggling with depression. And it's not the first time I've struggled with it. But I have to say it's been extremely different this year for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I'm struggling with it a little bit right now. And I think that is why I'm especially thankful for social media. Like, I can't stand social media, but at the same time, I think it's a great avenue for people that need to talk and need to relate and understand each other. And so I'm just in a place, sorry, I'm trying to squeeze this lemon. I'm in a place where the past week was really rough, and it got to a point where I was like gonna burst and I didn't know what to do. But that's why I decided to get ready today and to make this video.
That's cool, Mama.
Yeah. Cool, huh? And so yeah. I don't know. I still struggle with it here and there, but I think since having my daughter, that completely changed for me. She completely changed my mentality and everything. So, very grateful for that. And if ever you're just feeling depressed, maybe you should squeeze a fresh lemon and make some, yeah, I just did that. Make some lemon water. Like I said, I am not going to put the cayenne pepper in there because that, no, I don't know about that.
You saw me Wyatt. You got my Wyatt.
Oh, I spilled some on Wyatt. Sorry, Eddie.
Fine.
I'm sorry if this video was like all over the place, but whatever. Don't touch that. This was truly the randomest video ever, but I thought that it would be an interesting twist and an interesting way to answer questions. If I have any more questions, I'll put those in a later video. Or if you have any questions, you can always comment down below and ask away. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.